Hello, everyone. This is Jackie Tomlin, and welcome to another episode of When Spirit Speaks podcast. Thank you all for joining me. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I am certainly enjoying hearing your feedback, and the episodes are based upon your feedback. Okay. So if you're trying to reach me, it is JackieTomlin.com. You may also email me at Jackie@JackieTomlin.com. You may text or call at 804-731-2302. Let me hear from you. If you're seeking to check out some of the videos, it would be youtube.com/psychic Jackie. That's going to take you to your horoscopes by the zodiac and various readings, and the youtube.com and CVAPI video, which is the paranormal. Now, today we're going to revert back to a couple episodes ago. I think it was episode 24. I'm not sure, where we did the first episode on the paranormal. So today is kind of, we're picking up there kind of like with the paranormal part two. And what we're going to be talking about today is communicating with spirits. Okay. So, yeah, if you haven't caught part one, definitely go and check it out. Okay. Now, part two, we're going to talk about different types of those EVPs. Now, EVPs are electronic voice phenomena, is the recording where we capture voices on paranormal investigations. So, but we're also going to speak with communications with spirit as in angels, spirit guides, things of that nature. Okay. I need you to understand that communicating with spirits on paranormal investigations and communications with your spirit guides and angels are a little bit of two different realms here. Okay. And I may have created some confusion with that first podcast. So I want to come back and clarify some of these questions for you. Um, you're not going to get your angels and spirit guides to participate in an EVP session or paranormal investigation. Just want to throw that out there. I did make reference to a mediumship reading with an EVP, okay? And that EVP come from the person that they had lost, which, we will refer to as a human spirit. Okay, so we need not cross up the communications with human spirit with actual spirit. Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about today, a little bit of the difference of those. I have never, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been doing this for years and I've never seen anyone that has captured an actual angel spirit guide or anything of that nature on audio recording as well as on video recording. Okay. So I want to throw that out there. Now, this is going to lead me into, yes, you can try for your own EVPs, but it's going to lead me into talking about the different types of spirits out there and who you're talking to. Okay. And you need to kind of be careful and kind of knows the ins and outs of that. I normally don't discuss publicly demonic haunts and things like that, but I am going to give you some indications of knowing what you're dealing with there. Okay. First of all, you need to know that if it's something of the supernatural or if it's something that is not human, it's going to take on a different form to earn your trust. Okay. And that means an audio as well. And generally, it will come in the voice of a child. And on video or anything that you see visually can take the form of anything. And children are popular, animals are popular, things like that. If you have that visual, I mean, way you're going to tell is by the eyes. Okay. And the eyes are the key to the soul. So if you describe this to me and you say it had two black holes where the eye sockets were, but I didn't see the eyes, you are definitely not dealing with something of a human nature. And I say this when think about what I'm saying here, okay? The eyes are the keys to the soul. If there's no soul, you cannot manifest those eyes. Okay. It is very common, and this is what inspired this episode today. It is very common for me to get reports of the elderly have started communicating with something in their room. They've started communicating with something that is not there. Recently, I've been working with a client in Virginia Beach that says, her elderly father is communicating with something. Okay. She's taken him for an MRI. There's no signs of any damage there. There's no signs of anything wrong with his brain. There's no signs of dementia. It is very, very common when you get elderly that these are communicating with angels, which is exactly as he is describing them. They have tried for the audio, they have tried for the video, and they're not getting anything. So, of course, they started questioning his mental facilities. And at this point, I have to agree that if he knows he is very competent, this is a very Catholic gentleman, that it's very confident that he has angels that are visiting him. And I'd have to tend to say that you need to call clergy in there, not a paranormal team. Going right back to what we're talking about today of capturing angels, spirit guides, or anything like that in the form of a voice recording or in the form of video. The likelihood of that happening is not very good. So, yeah, this would be something, and don't get me wrong, because I do fully believe that angels and spirit guides do visit our elderly, even when they're in good health. Maybe they are relaying messages to them, or maybe there's a loved one trying to get a message to them that maybe it's time to come home or it's not time to come home. We can only presume, okay? The other thing I want to say in regards to something that maybe may not be human. Okay. Everyone in regards to the paranormal has a sense of fear. And no two people's fear level is going to be the same. And the best thing you can do is, be honest with you and be honest with yourself. What scares you? What doesn't? What are you scared to do? Do you want to go into a haunted house at night? Are you scared of the dark? Everybody has a different fear level. But when you enter an atmosphere that has something that is not human or has something that is absolute evil, the oppression you feel when you enter that location, and no, you do not have to be psychic to know exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay. Every one of my investigators have been through this. It is a knowing, it is a feeling, it is a change in the barometer, it is a change in the atmosphere. You are absolutely going to know. In other words, you won't really have to stand around and question, is this something evil or not? Okay. Now, let me say this. If it does come from that realm, okay, and it comes from the enemy side, don't give it more credit than it's due. And I say this because your spirit guides and your angels have the ability to speak directly to you. Not many people realize the enemy really doesn't have that ability. Okay. So you take with that as you will. Now, I can tell you for myself personally, on an investigation or anything like that, or anything to do with running these EVPs, and they're questioning whether it's human or not. If someone gets scared, the first thing you want to do is jump behind me, and I'm the last place you want to be. Okay. And I say that because just what I said, the enemy doesn't have the ability to speak to me, but spirit does. And it knows that. So the first person it wants to attack is going to be me. So the last place you want to be is next to me or behind me. And it's something to it, but like I said, don't give it more credit than what that credit is due. Okay. And it's capable of supernatural instances, and we're going to talk about that as well, but is not capable of actually speaking to you the way spirit would speak to you. And you would know it. you would know it. And like I said, the best thing I could tell is just trusting that intuition and that knowing when you feel the oppression, when you feel threatened. Spirit, angels, spirit guides are never, ever going to make you feel that way. Okay. So let's talk about the supernatural capabilities. Okay. If you've got a human spirit in your home, at work, or whatever, they're capable of human things. They are capable of opening and closing a door. They are capable of you hearing their footsteps on the stairwell. Okay. They're capable of maybe moving a small object on the table. Now, if you're at a home and you've got like a 600-pound marble table that levitates, that's a problem. That's a problem. If your sofa is levitating, that's a problem. If something has dragged your child out the bed and down the hallway and you saw nothing there, it's a problem. Okay, so like I said, I don't really want to go into the whole hype the things on the negative haunts or whatever, but I need you to know what you're doing when you're running these EVP sessions or you feel that you're communicating with spirits. There are different spirits out there. Okay. You don't need a voice recorder to speak to your angels. You don't need a voice recorder to speak with your spirit guides. You don't need a voice recorder to speak to spirit at ever. And the likelihood of them participating in that is not good. I mean, they may speak to you just as clearly as what I'm speaking to you right now, and would absolutely nothing come out of recording would not surprise me. Would not surprise me. Now, if you will watch my YouTube videos, you will see everyone we go high spirit or whatever, because something does blur my camera out. And there's 3 cameras in my office, and it will blur out all 3 at the same time. But you don't ever see the actual figure. Okay. Other things that you need to know if you are going to run these EVPs and you're going to try for them. The location. There are certain things that you look for that you know that maybe you should not be running these audio recordings, I guess you would say. Okay, so I want to start with talking about that. Let's talk about the family or who lives there and the sense of the oppression, the heaviness. Okay, it's just a generalized heaviness. And you generally will feel it either when you enter the property or when you walk through the household. Okay. Common is some rare type of sickness or some sickness that has occurred in the family home, or maybe there is someone that could also be drawn to an elderly that is ill, or it could just be some kind of sickness, and reports of miscarriages are very common. Someone or a family member having problems with dehydration, also common. And you've got to remember, water is your life source. You are like 80% water. So dehydration would be very common to go in hand with this sickness. The smell of sulfur. It's like, how do I want to describe this? It's like someone has struck a match. Okay, but it's 10 times worse, and it's much more pungent than that. The other thing is random appearances of wild animals. All of a sudden, these wild animals are appearing on the property. They're not just appearing on the property, they're appearing up close to the home. Example of that would be a coyote on the front porch. Anything like that, just something out of the ordinary. Okay. And then, of course, we also look at water tables. And sometimes you don't have to have a scientist along with you to talk about the water tables of the property. Look at the property. If they're reporting something negative, if they're reporting an oppression, if they're reporting something of that nature, look at the property. Just stand in the driveway and look. Is all the grass dead compared to their neighbors? You know, I mean, can you look down the street and see everyone has a green yard except this house? This is what I'm talking about. That pays a difference too. Things that can beef up the paranormal energy fields. Okay, this is where we get into electronic magnetic fields. And don't worry, that will be yet another episode in itself. Okay. But what I'm talking about is where they draw their strength from. Bodies of water, creeks, ponds, lakes, rivers. How close is a property to that? Power lines, substations. Are they on the property? Is there a power line running behind the house? Railroad tracks. Yes, railroad tracks. A big one. That is a big conductor. And these are just some examples of things that we look for that you may feel that it is not a human spirit that you're working with, based upon activity and things like that. Now, let me say this. Let's talk on another topic here. We're talking about communication with spirits. Let's talk about the all famous Ouija board. Do not support these whatsoever. I can honestly say I have not been involved in any type of demonic hunt that did not involve a Ouija board and the use of it within a 24-month span of us going into that location. And if you want some interesting stories, put it into Google. Put it into Google. The demonic haunts and the Ouija boards. We have signed many petitions to take these off of the market. They never will. It's 100 years old. It just celebrated its 100-year anniversary the other year. And it's not necessarily the board, but by Parker and Gamble or whoever has that board now. It's not the actual board, okay? It is the art of divination to which you are using, okay? So let me give y'all a prime example of what I'm talking about here. Let's say Uncle Bob has passed over and you want to talk to him. You have questions, you have concerns. There's things you want to discuss with Uncle Bob. The likelihood of you contacting Uncle Bob on a Ouija board is slim to none. But the likelihood of you opening a door is higher than you can imagine. The problem is, what side did you open the door to? And how are you going to close it? Yes, it may sound like television, it may sound like movies, but yeah, this is how it happens. More often than not. Practicing black magic, the practicing of seances, this does tend to open a door or a portal type that allows that negative in, or you've allowed it in and now you can't get rid of it. So, yeah, communicating with spirits. If there is a reason that you need to talk to a loved one that has passed, you need to seek out a psychic medium. Now, let me tell you this. Not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums are psychic. So you know. But you need someone that can speak with that person or make communications. And again, another episode, you're not going to get that person right away. Okay. There may be other people, there may be no connection whatsoever, but that, like I said, that's a topic for another day. Communicating with spirits. It is a fascination as the paranormal grows popular, as it grows popular on television, as it grows popular on social media and the ghost hunting. I mean, it's a big thing, but I'm here to advise you to be careful. What spirits are you connecting with? Who are you talking to? Do your research, get some basic information under you, but I can promise you this. Your angels, your spirit guides, and spirit are not going to speak to you with a voice recording running. That's a different level of communication. So I'm hoping I've taken some confusion out of this. And if I've confused anyone, I certainly did not mean to. I'll be honest with you, the paranormal is a fascination for me. It always has been. Always has been. My mom says that dated back to Scooby Doo. So who knows? She might be right. But know what you're doing. But what we're talking about, the podcast is called When Spirit Speaks Podcast. And we're talking about spirit. We're talking about God. We're talking about the angels. We're talking about your saints. We're talking about your spirit guides. That's what we're talking about. In the realm of the paranormal, that's not what we're talking about. So you need to know the difference. But it is a form of when spirits can speak to you. It's just the likelihood of you catching them on recording. I'm not going to say it's impossible. I can say I have not seen it done. And, by all means, if I am incorrect or you want to talk about it, contact me. Contact me. I have no problems discussing this. If you'd like to join me on a show about it, let me know. All right, gang, that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you for your support. The episodes are going really well. They're based upon what you want to hear. There will be more in the paranormal. I get a lot of requests on this, okay? And there'll be another episode coming up soon. So you guys have a fantastic week, and I shall see you soon. Remember, it's Memorial Day weekend. Be safe, be careful, and have fun. See you next week, guys. Bye.